You imagine through these aquifers and through these reservoirs, water just comes out of the spigot, right? We turn on the nozzles. And the reason I brought up early in the conversation the rain barrel is we don't necessarily need drinking water that goes through the purification process to water the plants, right? There's nothing wrong with actually the rainwater. What they say is when the chemical process of chlorination and all of the basically purity issue that comes with drinking potable water goes through the system, it takes out some of the minerals that the plants actually like. So when you ever see, if you go with your parents to the garden center and they buy maybe potting soil or Miracle Grow or kind of fertilizer, we're trying to replace some of the nutrients back into the water that the purification process took out. Pretty interesting. The rain barrel holds those minerals and that is actually better for the garden and the plants. Our bodies basically don't want to have chemicals in them, right? We're naturally part of the whole ecosystem ourselves. We're like a little system that needs water. And we have to drink this basically potable, is another name for drinkable water, every single day. Now, it's one thing to take the showers, it's another thing to drink the water. Who can tell me approximately how much water you ought to drink during a day? Yes, first hand up. 8 ounces. Okay, here is a measuring cup. 8 ounces would be this second line up. I have a feeling it's more than that. I'm guessing because I kind of know the answer, but that's a great start. 8 glasses. Now let's define a glass. Would a glass have 8 ounces? Would a glass have 12 ounces? Let's just say a glass is not a definitive, term because you can have a really tall glass or really short glass. A serving could be in that 8 to 10 ounce range. And so you'd guess 10 or 8 to 10, say, glasses. That would be about 80 ounces. Well, let's bring out some bottles to get a sense of how much water is in these containers. This one has 16 fluid ounces. Now, this is the kind of stuff you see people driving around and they buy and they keep in their cars or stuff. We're going to talk also about, in the reduce, reuse, recycle idea of how we can avoid these in general. I brought these because they're props, but there's a strategy to use containers that are reusable rather than to buy the plastic. So this one's about 16 ounces. This next one up the chain is 25 ounces. Then we go supersize, 50. And then you've all seen the big 2 liters, root beer or soda. Now in the middle, you sometimes get these 1 liter bottles, but they're typically more for like mixing drinks and things, tonic and club soda. You'll also, every once in a while, get the full gallon. Well, these are out here because we're going to get a sense of first what it is we want to drink to stay healthy. Water, like for plants and for humans, is absolutely critical to maintain muscle tone, to stay healthy and happy, and most people don't drink enough water during the day. You may drink some soda that has water in it, so a portion of that water or juice counts towards the liquid. But we had a guess of 8 ounces and then another guess of about 8 glasses, which would come in around 60 to 80 ounces. Anyone else with a guess? Yes, sir.
2 gallons.
2 gallons. You know who drinks 2 gallons? The military guys, like out in a Desert Storm in the Iraq War when they're in the desert, because that's a lot of water. So we've gone from 8 to 2 gallons. Yes, ma'am. 1 gallon. If we're going to start talking about gallons, let's get the ounces straight. Who knows how many ounces are in a gallon?
64.
Pretty close. 128. Now what gets confusing is there's 16 ounces of weight in a pound, but there are 128 fluid ounces in a gallon. So now, here's the scoop. We're going to get one more guess before I give you the answer on the drinking. Someone else had a hand up for how many ounces we would drink in a day.
1 liter.
1 liter. Okay, now a liter is approximately a quart, so that would be, you know, in this sort of 30-ounce range. So good. We've got an 8, 60 to 70. We're covering some good territory. 2 gallons. One more guess. A half gallon, which it would be about that 60, 64. Here's the scoop. If you are under 50 pounds, you probably don't need as much water as if you were over 150 pounds. So the answer is actually relative to body weight. What other factor do you think would determine how much water to drink in a day? Height, pretty good guess, but no. Activity level, very good in the way back. If you're running around all day and you're sweating, even if you're really, really tall, you're going to lose more of that liquid. It's going to evaporate out of your body. You're going to sweat, it's off and running into the air. So now, the level of your mass, which is your weight, and your activity are the primary drivers. There's one other factor.
If you live in like a hot or cold.
Super, perfect. You guys are like planted here with all the good answers. That's excellent. If you live in a hot climate and you're not active, just by walking outside, your body will naturally start to lose some of that water. So, as a rule of thumb, here is the scoop. You take 50% of your weight at a minimum, and that would be in fluid ounces, the recommended daily consumption. So if I am 180 pounds, I should drink at least 90 ounces.